Well, hello students. Remember that all through this course we're going to be saying that we are learning by doing. I think that is extremely important. Of course, you're always welcome to try new themes on your own. If you go to python.org, you can find much more examples of everything that we're covering. We're just trying to teach you all the information that we can in the simplest way that we can so you can get started with Python. Let's try this on idle. What is the output of this code? Let's try it out. As always, I have idle on the screen. We are trying to learn how to work with the strings and how to work with pieces of text and numbers at the same time that doing operations with them. The whole point of learning this is because soon we're going to be dealing with lists, on how to create a list, how to delete or slice or dice a list. So these terms and these things that we're going over are extremely important. So let's try the first one. If you have A equals to 1 as a string and B equals to 2 as a string, what will happen when you try to print A plus B? Let's see. A. Make sure that you always use lowercase letters. You can use higher case letters also, but at least be consistent. The number 1 in this case is a string. And B. Then we can print A plus B. As you can see, when we try to do that, we get 12. What happens is, this is of course not a number. This is a string. And when we add the value of A plus B, it gives us 1, 2. So what the string is doing is adding together A and B. Let's see if it happens the same when we give it a name, for example. Make sure the print is lowercase. As you can see, the number or the name of Michael Jackson comes out together. Now let's try with numbers. As you can see, with numbers, of course, Python calculates the addition. So Python knows that it has to do the same thing, either you're using addition for numbers or addition with strings. It will tend to add. It will try to do the most sensible thing it can. Let's go back to our presentation for a minute. Now I want you to try something. We're going to work with text. To add the number to a string, you must use str to convert it to the string first. Getting the sum of 5 and hello would make no sense, of course. It will give you a traceback error. But now, select the code to return the output. This over here, I minor than 3 u, is the output. What I want you to do is I want you to try both the instruction that is in the yellow box and the instruction that is in the green box in the interpreter, and then tell me which of the two boxes, yellow or green, contains the right answer for the output above. I give you a few minutes. Okay, so I hope you got some time to do the problem. Did you try both? You can actually cut and paste or copy and paste. You just type it on idle and see which one will give you the result. I love you, or I minus 3u. The response or the result will be the yellow box. As you can see, the I is a script or text because it goes on quotations. The same thing with the u. However, when we come down to 3, 3 of course is an integer. If we put str before the 3, we're changing the integer into a string. And that way it will produce the result that we want, which is I minus 3u. On the other one, I, first of all, has not the other quotation mark, or it didn't close on the quotation mark. Although sometimes you could do this and it will work on Python, sometimes it's better to do one at a time. Then 3 has not been converted to a string. So you can't really add numbers and strings together. You should have had a traceback error when you tried the example on the green box. You can also convert a string to an integer using int, or a string to a float using float. Let's try this and practice. We select the code to return the output 4. These are some of the possible solutions. Let's try each one of those in idle to see what we come out with. And let me know if either 1, 2, or 3 are the possible solutions. I give you a couple of minutes. Remember that in this problem, we were trying to get our output as 4. In the first solution, we see that we're trying to print a string or a number turned into a string because of the quotations, plus a number turned into another string. However, when we tried that, we got a traceback error. On the second one, we got our solution, which was 4. And then on the third one, we tried to turn a float, or pretty much a string, into a float, and then add the value. But that didn't work out either, and it throws an error. I hope that you have number 2 as your solution. Now in the next functions, on the next slides, we're going to learn the OR function. One of the functions that Python performs is called OR, or ORD. The name is short for ordinal value. Here it means, give me the value that represents the character in a sequence. A function is called by giving the name of the function followed by the things that the function works on. We already see that when we went through the functions print, or count, or round, or input. Make sure that you put in a string when you're calling, or else Python will think that you're trying to call a variable that was not declared or found in the program. The OR function is a beginning function to teach you about binary code in Python. For example, if you said ORD and then you put the word or the letter W in quotations, that will give us the number 87. Its complementary opposite function is the CHR function. CHR87 will give us W. If you're interested in learning more binary code or how binary code is formed in Python, I recommend that you take our course in Advanced Python, in which we go more in depth about binary code and cryptography. As you can see, binary, of course, is always on 0 and 1s. Every decimal number is assigned a binary 0 or 1. 0 will be false or no, and true will be 1, and vice versa. So when you're using the function CHR and the function ORD in Python, what you're trying to find is either the decimal equivalent or if something is true or false. We can use the beam function in Python to see how the computer stores information. For example, if you want to find out how a number is represented in binary form, you can type beam87. The beam function returns a string that gives the binary representation of that number. This string only contains zeros and ones. The string is prefixed with the characters 0b, or binary representation of a number. Learning binary is extremely useful if you want to be an architect or an analyst that works in cryptography, deciphering code, or if you want to work into the blockchain technology. Sometimes when we put things in Python, we don't know what went wrong. Most of the times are little errors. This can be frustrating, but as we go through the course, remember what I told you. If you enjoy puzzles and challenges, Python is just that, a puzzle or challenge. For example, try it on the interpreter. Can you identify the error in this statement below? We're supposed to add to 20 to the variable total. What was the error? I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think about it and try it in the idle interpreter. Well, let's find the answer. The only way to know the answer is by testing it in the interpreter with Python. Well, this is what happened. Creating meaningful names is important, just like we were talking about creating variable names. Just remember, capitalization is important. Syntax errors are extremely important. Make sure that you're always using capitalization or use the same type of case for all the variables that you use. We saw that we can write expressions that work with text. We can also create variables that hold text. For example, we can do a variable named customer name, Fred. If we wanted to print a message that says the name is, and then the customer name, we could use either print or input to create a program that will display the message, the name is, and then the customer name. As you can see, we are using concatenation or addition, this time to add the strings together to create a printout of the customer name. This is extremely useful when you have hundreds and hundreds of databases of data and you're trying to find the names of the cities and countries in which some of the clients reside. In the next module, we're going to learn how to escape characters help us with Python, move to the next line, or end at the end of the line, or move to the right to the next tab, or return to the printing position. You can also even add bells on the terminal when you make a mistake or an error. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next module.